All right, let's talk about what I learned this week. So, I'm going to talk about one book I read this week. And really to start out, I want to just no, let's redo this intro. Let's get to the point faster. All right, let's talk about what I learned this week. Why is it when Kobe Bryant died, myself as a grown man teared up and cried a little bit? Isn't that powerful? Why is it that I was so moved and saddened by the death of one of my heroes? And this week, I actually read The Mamba Mentality by Kobe Bryant. And so I'm going to give you a few lessons that I learned from that book and some takeaways that hopefully you and I can use to become more obsessed, to pursue things that we're passionate about, and to strive for greatness in our careers. So something that always comes to mind with Kobe and was very clear in his book is that he was obsessed. He was in love with basketball and trying to be the greatest. From a child, he loved the way that a basketball felt in his hands. He loved the sound of the dribbling. He really found something that was aligned with his passions so that the practice, the boring parts, the details to him were fun. And so he had this obsession and this dedication. And it was funny this week, after kind of writing about what I learned for this book, I actually saw Magnus Carlsen on Joe Rogan talking about the difference between discipline and obsession. He talks about how many other professional chess players have discipline. They're studying the moves, they're trying to think through what to do. But there's a difference between discipline, where you're forcing yourself to do something, and when you're truly obsessed, when you literally think about this nonstop every single day. Nothing's going to stop you from thinking about this. Nothing's going to stop you from working on this. It's that love of the game that really separates the very best from good or great. And so I thought it was so funny that that came up in my feed after I was studying Kobe Bryant and his obsession and focus on mastery. Another thing that was super clear in this book is his focus on details. A lot of this book was really great if you're an actual basketball player, but it kind of draws parallels to whatever you're working on, because he's breaking down little details about the game of basketball. He talks about how when you really understand where referees stand on the floor, the blind spots. And that's where the great players get away with holding the jersey, get away with a little extra push, maybe subtly pull you down while you're going up for a dunk. And all the great players had these little tricks that they would use. He talks about the different footwork that he would pick up, spacing, understanding schemes. Really, the book, almost every other section, is breaking down real practical details about the game of basketball and how he continued to try to pick up these details. When he found someone who was really good at defending a certain type of action, or getting spacing, or blocking, or managing distance, he would ask that person. He was super curious, and he would get into the details and master his craft. And that's a parallel that we can take for our own careers. How can we continue to push those details? Whatever you do, there's more that you can master. So you should go out there and study the best and try to figure out how you can get more detail oriented and understand the minutia of your profession. So obsession. Another thing that kind of was new for me reading this book was the amount of mindfulness and self-awareness that Kobe had. So he was always listening to his body and his mind, and he would let that dictate his practice and his preparation, the type of music he listened to. He was very mindful in understanding the state that he was in and what he had to do to get him into the state he needed to be at. And this mindfulness, it's throughout the book. You can see how important it was to him. And it really shows that he was like a Shaolin monk when it came to basketball, and really preparing his mind, being aware of the inner game of basketball, and really perfecting his mindset and doing everything he needed to do to get himself in the place to win. So those are the takeaways from Mamba Mentality, the autobiography by Kobe Bryant. Really awesome book. There's some other great books that detail more of the history of Kobe Bryant as well, and plenty of great talks online of him talking about his process. So one of my favorite basketball players of all time, and some great lessons for anyone looking to strive for greatness and excellence in what they do.